Now, I'm going to put it out. My stance as a realtor is definitely going to be that ownership is best over renting. So let's really get into it. Renting versus owning. Also, another benefit of home ownership is every time you pay your mortgage, you're increasing your credit score. Paying your mortgage does count towards credit, but unfortunately, paying rent does not count towards credit. So even if you're on time for making all your monthly payments, it's not going to affect your credit score, unfortunately, but it will 100% negatively impact you if you do have an eviction on your record when it comes to renting. So that's another thing to keep in mind too. So based on what we've been discussing so far, it definitely seems like the benefits of ownership far outweigh the benefits of renting. So another thing that I commonly get is because Virginia, especially this area, Hampton Roads, Virginia, is a really high military area. We have a lot of people who are just here on short deployments or got to stay here for a little bit amount of years, and then they're getting sent to somewhere else, another state or another country sometimes. A lot of those people say, well, I'm just going to rent while I'm here because I'm not going to have a forever house. But what I typically say to that is, so are you ever going to get a forever house, you know? Because like if your situation is you're forever going to keep moving around, are you just going to keep renting? Because like I was saying earlier, at the end of your rental term, you don't have nothing to show for it. But let's say the same person, they're just going to be here short term, right? What I would suggest is still buying a house under that circumstance. And then when they do have to move, guess what? They can make that their investment property so they can have some money coming in each month from that property. So basically with the investment property, they have that property, even though they're not going to be there anymore, they can rent it out to people. So the people occupying the property while they're not there, they're going to send them money. And they're going to keep sending them money, give them some residual income, or what Nipsey called mailbox money. So in that situation, comparing it to just renting a place for a short time and have nothing to show for it, or owning a place and getting some mailbox money coming in, seems like the option to get some more money coming in would be the best option. But hey, that's just me talking. Everybody thinks different, of course. So as I said, we're going to keep it objective. We're going to talk about renting and owning. So when it comes to renting, one thing that is good typically is maintenance. So when you rent, typically a maintenance company will come take care of something. Let's say an appliance does break or there's issues that affect the property and the property's conditions. Typically the property management company will come and fix that, not at your expense. And I say typically because when I've rented, I've had situations where maintenance has not been up to par. But that's another story for another time. Versus ownership, when you do own, because it is your property, you're in 100% control. That means you take on 100% of the responsibilities. So that does include if an appliance does break or something happens to the property, if it's not covered under the insurance or you don't have a home warranty, then it is your responsibility as the homeowner to take care of it if you choose. But this is another reason why I do recommend that homeowners do get a home warranty. I always recommend it for at least the first 13 months, but that term period can also be extended for however long the homeowner wants it to be too. And a home warranty will cover all appliances, all systems in the house. And under a home warranty, you don't have to pay the big fee. Just pay a small service fee, the cost of getting the person out there to fix it, and then it's good to go. So as I discussed before, if you're not living with your parents or not living with a guardian or something like that, you are going to be having to make the choice of, should I buy my house or should I rent my house? The better option, based on all the evidence, is to own if you're in a position to be able to do that. Now, if you want to learn about how to get in a position to do that, or to check to see if you are in a position to be able to do that, what I suggest is check out my first time home buyer series. That will pretty much explain everything about being a first time home buyer, the things you need to be a first time home buyer, what it takes to qualify, anything to that effect. That's in the first time home buyer series, so check that out. And also if there's any specific questions about what it takes, then you can always feel free to reach out to me. I will respond back. Another thing also when it comes to renting versus owning is the price. Now, oftentimes people don't believe me when I say this, but the stats don't lie. It typically is cheaper to own versus rent, and not just in the long term, but also in the short term. A 2-bedroom, 2-bath here in the area may be a certain amount, but if you take that same exact house and look at the mortgage payment versus what they have it listed for rent, more often than not, the mortgage payment is cheaper than the rent payment per month. And of course, in the long term, it's going to be cheaper too. And the reason for that is rent prices are only going up. As we saw earlier this year, rental prices are getting pretty crazy. I've even seen situations where they're going highest and best for rent, which is ridiculous. That basically means that multiple applicants are putting in applications for a rental and it may be listed for, let's say, $1,500. But once the applicant finds out there's multiple applicants, they'll say, we can do $1,700. And instead of it being rented out for that $1,500 like it says, it'll be rented out for $1,700. Or whoever guarantees that they'll pay the highest amount for rent per month. Under a mortgage, you don't have to worry about that. Under a traditional fixed mortgage, your payments are going to stay the same. They're not going to go up like rental payment goes up. And the rental payments is gonna go up, trust me. And that's something that you don't really have control over as a tenant. If you want to stay, you gotta pay, unfortunately. And especially dealing with things that you can't control, such as gentrification and such like that, they're only gonna up the rental prices. And what was seen as a pretty affordable rental at one time, they're gonna come in there, they're gonna raise the prices up the roof. We've seen it happen over and over and over. Them building one park or one mall or shopping center, boom, your rent's up $200 a month, just like that. So that's that. We're talking about being a boss. We're talking about ownership. Home ownership is the way to go. Don't let anybody convince you that renting is the best option, because 99.9% of the time is not the best option. The only option I can think of where it would be better to rent is, let's say you staying with your parents and they're making you pay like $100 a month or something like that. That might be a decent option, but while you're doing that, you work up to save the money to be able to buy your own house, because you don't want to stay with somebody forever. You want to have your own place, I would think. So that is renting versus owning. If you guys have any questions at all, any concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear y'all's feedback. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know about what you think about any of these videos. And like I said before, if you're interested in home ownership but don't know where to start, check out my first time home buyer series. That's going to be a great guide and a great resource for you. So I'm looking forward to y'all's feedback. Thank y'all and stay blessed.